Hi everyone, this is Tamara, your courtroom companion. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Glad to have you here. And if you have been watching my content for a while, welcome back. I'm glad you continue to come back. So in today's video, which is titled Why I Advocate for a Shorter Custody Order with a Narcissist rather than a long one, I'm going to share with you why I feel strongly about those shorter court orders. But before I tell you what that reason is, please do hit that subscribe button and that bell notification so you'll be notified when I upload my content. And you'll probably recognize, if you've been here for a while watching me, I'm still out of town. I don't have all of my same equipment, but I wanted to get this video recorded for you because it's been on my mind lately. And so I appreciate your flexibility and understanding. I'm not in my original surroundings here. And also, I'm not a mental health therapist and I'm not an attorney. I'm just a mom who is sharing her story and her journey with being in the family court system for 8+ years. I've learned quite a bit in my 8.5 years about family court, narcissism, and custody. And so I'm just here sharing what I know, hoping it will be helpful to other moms and dads out there. And so if you need a professional attorney or a mental health therapist, please do reach out and seek that support. So why do I advocate for a shorter custody order rather than a long one? When I have an ex-spouse who I say is a narcissist, even though he's never been formally diagnosed, in my opinion, his behaviors align up to that of a narcissist. So I wanted to put that caveat there. So why do I want a shorter custody order and why it's been working so well in my case? I used to think that longer custody orders would be what I need, so that every single facet of custody would be spelled out so that I didn't have to continue to engage with the narcissist. I didn't want to have to fight over every single thing. So I thought, I'm going to put everything in there. I'm going to put in there if our son is dismissed early for teacher work day from school, if he's comes home early on a transition day and he's sick or whatever. I wanted every single stipulation in our custody order. If I was going to go through a custody situation and a custody trial and put all this money to it, I wanted a long custody order so that I could just go to it and know what to do in every single situation. Well, there are two problems with that. One is that there's no way to account for every single thing that will happen in your child's life or children's lives until they're 18. COVID is a prime example. No one could have anticipated that COVID was coming, and so therefore that's not in the court order. So that's one reason. You can't account for everything. You can't account for every single scenario. There was a time when Father's Day and my birthday ended up on the same day, and that wasn't specified in our court order, and that created some drama. So that's one reason not to have everything in there. And the second main reason for not having a long custody order is because narcissists thrive in language. In my opinion and in my experience, they love language because they will interpret that language any way they choose, and how they interpret it today will not be the same way they interpret it next year or next month. So having lots and lots of language and lots of pages of a court order is plenty of playroom for a narcissist to make your life crazy. And so what do you do? What do you do if you can't specify everything and language is a way that they can wreak havoc in your lives and your children's lives? What do you do? Well, you have a shorter court order, and you have a short court order that really does lay out the physical and legal custody arrangement. And there needs to be some other things in there that are general enough where you don't have to interpret. And I'm going to give you an example of what I mean. So in our third custody trial, which was our last one, hopefully there won't be another one, but our judge said during the final ruling, after we had 11 days of trial stretched across, I think, 6 months. We had 2 days here, 3 days here, whatever, and then we came back on a 12th day where the judge gave us her ruling. And so that was a couple of weeks after the 11th day. And so when she did her final ruling, she said, I don't think I've ever had to put into a custody order, as long as I've been a judge, what to do in a snow emergency. She said, but in this case, I have to. And my trial was excruciating, but it ended up where the judge gave me permanent legal and physical custody and gave my ex-husband every other weekend physical access. So that's our arrangement. But I'm just going to give you an example of one thing that you can put in to your custody order that keeps it general enough, yet doesn't allow any room for the narcissist to play around. She put, and this is just one example that I'm going to give you from my own story. If school is not in session that Monday, the plaintiff or her agent, which is me, shall retrieve the minor child from defendant's home at 8 a.m. However, if the snow emergency plan is in effect during a scheduled transfer time, the minor child shall remain in the care and custody of the parent he is with at the time until the snow emergency plan is lifted, at which time the child will promptly transfer in the manner outlined herein. So she used an objective criteria, meaning if our county has a snow emergency route in place, that is the determining factor on whether or not we transfer our child. So in that case, she wasn't saying, well, if the roads are not safe. She didn't say that, because not safe will be interpreted one way by the narcissist today and another way at another time. So she used a very objective criteria for whether or not to transfer our son if there's a snow emergency. And she said she's never had to put that in, but she is putting it in this one. But it was general enough that it didn't have to specify 2 inches of snow, 3 inches of snow, if there's ice, if it's, she didn't go into all the possible scenarios that I personally would have wanted in there, which I now realize is better to put it in the way that our judge put it in. So that's just kind of like one example of what I'm talking about. That if you can put in a more objective criteria in your court order rather than, putting every possible scenario, then I would definitely advocate for that. And if you have other examples, if you've been through this before, our community would really love to hear about your experiences, whether you've had long custody orders and what that means for your life and whether it works, whether you have shorter custody orders, and tell me how that's going. Our community is a community of people that are learning from each other. Some of us have attorneys representing us and others don't. So anything you can share in the comments below is helpful to all of us. So thank you for stopping by. I just wanted to kind of advocate for the shorter custody orders. I think it's better for you in the long run. So that's just my opinion. Hopefully it's helpful to you all. Do leave us a comment below, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.